What's up, everybody? I'm doing a video in my car. Got some time here. Yeah, I want to talk about the Berlanga video versus Canelo Alvarez. As a boxing fan, that's all I watched from kid, and I'm gonna just break this down real quick because I'm gonna be honest as possible. I don't even get to watch boxing like I used to. Boxing is really weird, but I predict so many fights right over the years because you can kind of see where things are going. But with a fighter like Canelo Alvarez was marketed really well. Of course, like I predicted on his channel back in the day, you can go through this receipts here on this channel. I told you Floyd Mayweather would outbox a much younger Canelo, and it would be like an exhibition because he had the skill. Canelo Alvarez, he's really good, but he's not like amazing great. He's not an elite. And so many people are gonna get mad and whatever. The truth is, if he was, he would have beat Floyd Mayweather in his prime when he was only 23. Look at what legendary fighters at 23 with massive skills have done in the past. I don't care. All these excuses, he wasn't experienced enough, blah, blah, blah. Floyd beat him. He could never beat Floyd on his best day. But anyway, that being said, I think Berlanga, I don't know much about him, but I did look at his record and I did watch some highlights and I did see a fight or two. I remember the name, and he fought some guy from the UK, I believe, some Irish guy. A couple of those fights I watched online. Unless Canelo Alvarez, I put in a nutshell, gets old, he's gonna win. And that's what really stinks about boxing. Is boxing a giant, like, old school wrestling scam? What do I mean by that? Like, especially like nowadays, when you have different networks building up fighters, different apps building up fighters, just hear me out, give me a minute. You always know, for the majority of the time, you'll see, like, I'll just give a Tank Davis or a Shakur Stevenson, hope they fight, but you'll see like them fight a much lesser fighter over and over, like, you know they're gonna win. And as they're building that name, and then they start going up in the ranks and they get paid millions of dollars, and it's like we just get squeezed. It's like a short squeeze or something, if I had to put some comparison, like in a stock game. Like, here's what I mean. Like, you're watching always the house fighter fight some lesser fighter, and you know, unless there's some incredible upset, which is rare, it does happen, it's exciting, but you always see the, like, Shakur Stevenson or the Tank Davis or even Floyd Mayweather when he was coming up in a game, or whoever it is, Canelo Alvarez, fight the lesser fighter, and as they're building their name, and then they build their name, and then they're still having these lame fights where you know it's gonna be a win. Is all this hype up, all this talk, it's ridiculous. So I'm a frustrated boxing fan. It feels like scammy to me. It feels like old school wrestling back in the day, 80s, 90s, even more in the 2000s too, where you have a big WE fighter or what was it, F back in the day, fight a cheap guy. So it's in this boxing, you'll have all these networks now, there's different apps, like you'll have the Zone, they'll have their guy they sign, and you'll have ESPN, and they'll build their fighter over and over fighting cheap guys, easy wins. You'll know they're gonna win no matter what. They'll build all this excitement around it. The Zone will do the same thing, and finally the payoff. They're usually in their 30s, like with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd. They'll be in their 30s and they'll fight. That being said, we saw Pac go through some really good people, and Floyd, because at that stage in their career, we were patient and we watched them get to their 30s and have these great fights. But in most cases, especially today in boxing, from what I understand, from what I'm seeing, you'll see these guys come up, whatever let's call it house fighter, like a Tank Davis fight this lower skilled fighter, lower tier fighter, over and over, big hype up, weigh-ins, money, this and that. I get it, but we're getting ripped off. The boxing fans are getting ripped off, whereas you have an MMA, you have UFC, you have the best fight the best, usually, from what I understand, from what I've seen, from my experience. So this all sucks, you know. It sucks to me. I'm frustrated. If this just ends out of nowhere, it's because I don't no more memory in my phone. I got a ton of stuff in here, but it really stinks. So they're gonna fight this weekend, and I think, unless Canelo gets old, I don't even know much about Berlanga. Okay, he's got a good knockout record, but look at his last opponent. It's not like he beat a better Beav, or who, I know it's different weights or whatever probably, but it's not like he beat someone like, oh my God, we got to see this fight. So I'm just gonna say, I'm going to favor Canelo off the little bit I've seen of his opponent this weekend. So I just think Canelo's going to win, and he's getting older. Maybe he doesn't get the knockout because it gets harder as you get older, but he's going to win on the cards. And if he doesn't win, it's time to call it a day. He's in his mid-30s. He has nothing to prove as far as money. He doesn't need that. But anyway, Canelo, he was always, for me, he was like a really good marketed, good fighter, but he wasn't like an elite, amazing, great. I mean, we have to be harsh and judgmental when we're classifying pound for pound and our favorite fighters and stuff like that. I mean, that's the way it is, pound for pound. I don't see that with Canelo because, like I said, long ago he would have beat Floyd, and he had problems, and he fought a lot of lesser fighters, and they built it up like it was something so great. But anyway, really good marketing. He's a really good fighter, no doubt about it, and I think he should get the job done. He should definitely beat this Berlanga guy if he doesn't get old that night and just it happens, he loses. So for the little bit I've seen about this Berlanga guy, the little bit I've seen on him, he's all right. He's got a lot of power. I really don't know until I see him fight Canelo what he could do in a much older Canelo. This guy is only in his 20s. Ideally, he should beat Canelo Alvarez. Ideally, if you look at it on paper, if he's really good, he should beat him, and it should be the end. It should be RK c'est la vie. Canelo, great career, over. The best days are behind you. And this Berlanga guy, he beat a guy that's diminished with shop worn, with age, and with youth versus older fighter, more experienced fighter. Otherwise, if he doesn't beat him, it doesn't look good for him. It's gonna be like, oh wow, Canelo beats another person he was another opponent he was realistically supposed to beat. I don't know what the boxing experts are saying. I have no idea. I'm totally out of touch. It just popped up in my feed going through YouTube, and I saw that. I read about it. They were gonna fight, but I didn't know they were gonna fight this weekend. So this is how I look without my sunglasses. Remember me? Anyway, I got some people off camera. If you hear voices in the background, I'm at a pond looking over some water. And anyway, so that's what I'm seeing for the fight. And I don't know. We live into some interesting times. I like to talk about other things because I'm really frustrated with boxing. I would much rather like to talk about all these people flexing, running around, acting like they're rich. I'm sitting in a Kia Rio right now. I'm proud. I'm a proud owner of it. I don't have a car payment on it. I don't need to be flexing like that. But all these people riding around and they don't have two nickels saved, and they're riding better cars than me and stuff like that. I'd rather talk about stuff like that because it's very interesting. It's a very interesting case study of why people are doing that, but put themselves into debt and stuff like that. But anyway, is Floyd Mayweather, a lot of speculation out there, one day will he be broke? You see him getting on jets and stuff like that. Is Floyd Mayweather a gambling addict? I'm not saying he is. Allegedly, some people are saying that. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think Floyd Mayweather, I don't know, from what I've seen, he looks very responsible from what I've seen, and he's investing in properties, and he has a lot of things going for him, whereas a lot of fighters that were rich a decade before, like Mayweather money, well, not, comparatively in their era, they went broke. Unfortunately, Holyfield had some difficulty. I saw a documentary on him with finances, and we all know Mike Tyson was broken. He rebuilt his wealth and stuff like that, regenerated it and reinvented himself. But anyway, that's another story. Mike Tyson, Jake, why is that fight happening still? Is it happening? Is it a scam? Go to my previous videos. I'll tell you what I think about that. But I am out. I hope whoever watches this, the two people that watch, enjoy. I'm out.